It's like being so consumed with self-destruction, and every day I'm going to try to make it worse than the day before.
It took years of a devastating substance addiction and near incarceration for Jesse Heffernan to begin the healing journey of recovery.
Kind of sold out my values and my morals and who I was in exchange for, getting that next whatever. And so it's been a long process building that back.
The Fox Valley man's been in active recovery for 15 years. Now he trains recovery coaches, people who've been through it, to help those still struggling. But he'll be the first to tell you it's not an easy battle to win.
It took incarceration for me to really take that time out and look at my life.
The last statistics I saw, 10% of the population has a substance abuse issue. So that's 1 out of 10 families. That's very high.
Substance abuse counselor Dan Bratton of Prevea helps patients with addictions of all kinds, but says no matter what it is, it's an illness. And the desire to get better is a big component in the success of the patients he sees.
There's not enough of it in our community, right? And it's not just Green Bay, it's nationwide. It is an underserved population.
Seeing firsthand just how big the drug problem is.
What we're starting to see now is people are making the jump from those pain pills to heroin.
Jason Weber with the Town of Menasha Police Department has been a driving force in educating the public about drug use.
Users that are stealing from their own family, stealing things like vacuum cleaners.
He sees all types of drug problems and people faced with suffocating addictions, especially opiates like heroin and prescription painkillers.
It's not just a police department problem, It's not just a hospital problem. It's not just a rehab. I mean, it affects everybody.
A problem reaching so far as to make naloxone or Narcan, a drug that effectively reverses an overdose, more easily available to the public. Officers with the Fox Valley Metro Police Department have had it in their patrol vehicles since December.
I was out in a mist like that.
And have already needed to use it in the Fox Valley.
Well, I think drug overdose is a bigger problem than most people realize.
Lieutenant Mark Ullman has been with the department for 17 years, but says he's really seen a sharp increase in drug-related cases and overdoses with things like heroin and morphine in the last 5 years.
1 out of every 3 stops, there's a good chance you're going to find something else in that stop, and a lot of times it is drugs. So.
But now having the life-saving drug Narcan readily available, he believes they can start focusing on getting users on the right track.
And hopefully, we can make a difference in a situation where somebody may have lost their life. So,
faced with a near-death experience, a second chance at life. But where does someone lost to addiction turn? Some say there isn't enough help available in the Fox Valley and Northeast Wisconsin for those who want it. So Anthony Alvarado created Rise Together, an organization educating thousands of kids every year on the dangers of drug use after dealing with his own addictions. He says around 60,000 kids he's talked to agreed that substance abuse is a problem in their community.
When you have about 70,000 people saying it's a problem in our community, it's a problem in the school, and my young age of 13, 18 years old have already lost somebody to a drug overdose, something needs to drastically change.
Rise Together, as well as Jesse's Addiction Recovery Services organization, Helios, are partnering with law enforcement officers like Jason Weber.
It's not really a message of just say no, but more or less a message of hope.
Attempting to shine a light on the darkness of addictions, bringing more exposure to the help that is out there, and understanding how difficult it can be to start to dig yourself out.
And really build a safe place, for people that they can get immediate access to life-saving measures.
Together, they're hoping to put recovery coaches on the streets and in patrol cars with officers who can then be the inspiration to make a life-changing choice.
When there's those windows there, coaches can be available right then and there as well for when they have that moment where they want to get help.
Reach out to whoever you have to get the help that you need. Give it a try.
Eliminating the barriers between addiction and a life filled with purpose is something this proud father of 2 says is a high far better than any achieved through drugs.
You're going to get your life back. So then you can go out and maybe apply to school and get that education you always wanted to get. Or maybe you can get that home that you always wanted to get, or that family or that loved one. You can have those people in your life by taking care of yourself first, and then now you can take care of others.
And it's amazing. I never thought I could be that happy. Sober.
It affects everybody. And that's what it's going to take to to correct it is everybody.
hoping to be met with a nurturing community that can start embracing a recovery culture, working to solve an epidemic.
People didn't give up on me, you know, and I don't give up on other people. Hopefully we can all start working together.
Every day, Michael Woodrow fights to walk,
Every step he takes is pain. He has cerebral palsy.
but that doesn't stop him from chasing after things he's passionate about.
To keep people safe.
And inside the doors of the Fond du Lac Police Department, he found his heroes
I like visiting with him.
and someone to look up to
And they talk like guys.
in Officer Brian Bednark.
He's always got something funny to say.
Abused as a child, a seizure at just 2.5 years old led to brain damage and a series of disabling side effects. He was removed from that home by police at 6 years old.
They rescued me.
A new adoptive family came into Michael's life soon after, including his Aunt Lisa, who love him unconditionally.
I don't know of a lot of people who could have all of the issues Michael has and tell a joke and smile like he does.
After being given a life expectancy of only 10 years, the department made sure his 30th birthday party was a special celebration.
That really made my day when they came to my birthday party.
An unexpected friendship that rises above
This is truly what a police officer stands for and what their role is in a community.
and proves it's not always the ones in uniform
He started to take care of me first.
that do the rescuing.
Makes me reflect on how good I have it in life. And Michael, his day-to-day struggles in life, and he can make it. Anybody can make it.
Adam Smith recently moved his family to Ripon for a new job and into a new home with a fireman's pole, a big patio.
We also have a skylight so that whenever I go to bed I can see the stars.
But this home is only 400 square feet. The Smiths' mustard seed tiny house sits on a corner of a family friend's 20-acre property, but its presence is already stirring up trouble. About a month into tiny house living, the owner of the property the house sits on got this notice, saying they had till August 1st for the house to be removed. It references a specific town ordinance in Ripon, saying the land is limited to contain one dwelling unit, and having the house as a second residence is a violation.
It's sad that a township has to say, you know what, we don't want this for a reason, not because it's a law, it's because we don't want to open our eyes to see that there's another way of doing something.
Tiny house owners, no stranger to resistance, but the Smiths hope to find a resolution and believe their tiny house will bring great exposure to Ripon.
And if we get the boot, how are we going to be able to showcase Ripon in a positive light if we're looking for a place to live and we are homeless?
A minimalist way of life that brought them joy no material possessions could.
But when you get served that eviction notice, that's the heartache that you have to experience. And when you have to look at your kids and say, we might not be able to stay here, that's the heartbreak.
As they fight to stay in the small house they built so they can live life large. In Ripon, Holly Baker, NBC 26. Turkey legs sizzling on the grill and plenty of mini pumpkin pies. It must be a holiday here in Titletown.
Packers-Bears game on Thanksgiving at Lambeau Field.
Wouldn't have it any other way.
These Packers fans are part of a multi-generational tradition with a historic house right by the stadium.
I'm cold, but you know, my heart is warm with all my family here.
Not far away, Bears fans have set up their command center to continue their traditions.
It's a great rivalry. You know, the fans are always great to us up here when we come there, and we treat them the same when they come down to Chicago.
And in a different backyard, Bob Wires
I am absolutely not a grill master. I can't make French toast.
Is heating up the rivalry.
But I can roast a bear.
By trading turkey for a 185-pound black bear.
We thought that would be the appropriate thing to do.
His barbecue party has been raising money for different local charities each year.
We put a lot of barbecue sauce with it, so the beer tastes like barbecue sauce and nobody complains.
And giving the opportunity to take a bite out of a bear.
Tastes like chicken.
It's just a lot of fun, and you know what? We got a lot of respect for each other.
A rivalry rooted in competition.
The Packers are going to be feasting on some bear meat as well today. It's going to be delicious.
Put up the fight with the might so fearlessly.
That's part of a historic football legacy.
Green Bay fans treat us the best, only because we're the Bears.
They appreciate the history.
Go, Pack, go!
Some are very robust.
Rick Karan has a passion for olive oils.
Just like wine, smell the bouquet, and then you slurp it.
So he decided to open his new shop, the Hardy Olive, in downtown Manitowoc just weeks ago and has had steady business.
We give them ideas. Oh, you can put it in your ice cream. We got guys buying the dark chocolate, balsamic vinegar, and putting it in their chili.
A few doors down,
We have breakfast in here.
a haunted bed and breakfast also recently opened, a one-of-a-kind business venture for Don and Jim Dobbick, looking to grow beyond their other ventures.
Anything that is stagnant will eventually go away. You have to continually reinvent yourself, whether it be a business like ours or a town.
Mayor of Manitowoc Justin Nichols encourages fresh ideas and unique niche businesses that make his city a destination.
We're trying to figure out different ways to get people to come down for specific reasons and hopefully stay down there.
Now they say they don't even like going back to ranch dressing.
And get a taste of Manitowoc and olive oil if Rick Karan has his way.
I recognized the guy right away. As soon as I seen that face, I'm like, I know that guy.
This Facebook post shared over 2,000 times.
I felt like I was taken advantage of.
New owner Rebecca Duran of the 5 O'Clock Somewhere bar in Menasha can't believe she fell for it when a man asked her to sponsor his golf team.
And it was very convincing.
Giving this man $250 in cash and never seeing him again.
I was really trusting, and I waited 3 Wednesdays for him and his golf league to come in. And then after that, I was like, that sucks.
In New London at the Half Blonde bar,
I've learned to get stuff in writing.
owner Jerry Voigt was told a very similar story just a few months ago.
He's like, oh, I need about $235.
It was going to pay for the polo shirts to get embroidered.
That's to cover the cost of the shirts and everything like that.
He was going to have them made for me, asked for my size.
My team will be in every Wednesday to drink.
He'd be in every Wednesday night at 7 o'clock.
We'll be spending money, this, that, and the other.
There's 8 people playing golf.
Now both owners are operating a bit differently.
Don't be handing out money, and if you do, make sure they're legit.
To avoid being targeted again.
We're such a small town neighborhood bar, and we really do reach out to the community and like to sponsor stuff like that, and it just sucks that our first sponsorship was a scam.
By speaking out and sharing on social media, they hope others don't make the same mistake.
Brandy, go this way. Come on.
You can often find Jeff DeWall of Menasha using the trails at Jefferson Park with his 2 dogs.
I swear, people wave at us all the time because we're down here so much.
But now he'll be watching them a little closer, hoping they won't be the next to find syringes on the ground.
Oh, I'd be furious, yeah. Not only for myself, but like you said, others that walk their dogs down here. Oh, yeah, I couldn't imagine.
Aaron Zemlock of Menasha Police
I'm a parent myself, and it's scary to think that my kid could get stuck with a needle in a park.
says this issue is part of a bigger problem.
Certainly, I would say it's increasing for us and for cities across the country.
I don't think it's really surprising. Heroin is really becoming a big epidemic now, and they're having a lot of issues, not only like in a small town like Menasha, but across the country. So.
And that's why our local counties all have drug education programs in place.
This is a fight, and we're in it until the end.
But police still want people to be on the lookout.
Needle sticks, pose all kinds of health risks, hepatitis, other types of communicable diseases.
As melting snow could reveal more needles.
A lot of kids come down here and play on equipment, then you get the swimming pool.
Sadly, a sight becoming more common in northeast Wisconsin.
Fortunate to have these trails to use them, but boy, I hope that just doesn't get ruined because of that.
It can be difficult dealing with giving the news at the end of the life. Where it's most difficult is someone that you've thought that you've cured.
The weight of that news cannot be measured.
Many times I'm the one that finds these cancers that actually determines that it's an incurable cancer.
For some doctors, it becomes too much, and they choose to change professions, retire early, or end their own life because of emotional exhaustion. Dr. Peter Johnson at Aurora Baycare Medical Center says he's lost colleagues to suicide after being surrounded by despair.
It's something that they need to accept, and it's going to be people they never expect. They're out there working, and the 25-year-old comes in after a bad car accident and is dead on arrival. The 10-year-old, that's medicine, that's life.
Dr. Johnson is the director of gynecological oncology and palliative care, which is optimizing quality of life in those who have life-limiting illnesses. Many of his patients are women with incurable cancers. He's had to give a lot of bad news and feel a lot of shared pain. It's a burden, he says, comes with the job.
You never can get it completely out of your mind. I think if you do, you shouldn't be in medicine anymore. When it stops hurting, you probably shouldn't be doing it anymore.
Organizations like Prevent Suicide Fox Cities work to educate the public on depression and mental illness, something that plays a role in 90% of suicides.
Mental illness has such a stigma around it, and people have a hard time acknowledging those around them who have mental illness, or if they have mental illness themselves.
That stigma is preventing people from speaking up, especially doctors in high-stress jobs that need an outlet for the heartache they constantly see. In his 26 years as a physician, Dr. Johnson says only in recent years has it become acceptable to talk about the stress and fatigue.
When I started this 20 years ago, you would have been laughed out of the room had you even discussed this.
And in that time, he's learned the value of spirituality, mindfulness, and meditation, and seeing the good even when surrounded by sadness.
And I've done my best. I've done everything I know. I continue reading, learning new techniques, new ways of treating the cancers, but I've done everything I can and it still fails. That's not my fault. It's all about helping people. Somebody that cannot have radiation, cannot have chemo, cannot have surgery, there's no further treatment remaining, I can keep them comfortable. I can give them peace.
Mary Sullivan with Prevent Suicide Fox Cities says people in those positions should not be taught to put their own emotions aside, but recognize the need for self-care and how mental illness affects so many people who are afraid to speak up.
It's very important to have self-care and a plan for your self-care. What do you need to do every day to take care of yourself?
Dr. Johnson has developed structure for his life revolving around peace and serenity.
Here and now, so in the moment, living in the moment, breathe and relax. Aaron Rodgers said that, I think, 2 years ago too, didn't he?
And says it's important to always have hope, even when accepting sad news, whether you are the patient or the doctor.
There's a finality there. There's a sense of calmness many times with this once that occurs, and it makes you just so much more aware of how precious life is and how we deal with each other day to day, moment to moment, is what's really important. It's little things.
How you doing? Good. I'm Jim Schmidt. I'm the mayor, and we're kind of celebrating Transit Week this week. How's transit working for you?
Thousands of people rely on public transportation every day to get around.
Everybody happy with transit?
Today, Green Bay Mayor Jim Schmidt rode along on a busy route.
We continually study the schedules to make sure we're reaching out to as many people as we can to get them from point A to point B and back.
Appleton's Mayor Tim Hanna doing the same thing in the Fox Valley.
It's a way to connect with people and citizens in your community.
As millennials strive to be car-free and older generations give up driving.
What a variety of people, from students to people going to work, people going grocery shopping. And
these bus systems are working toward adapting to what people need to stay relevant and efficient.
It's not that public transportation needs to compete with Uber or private taxi service. It's a piece in the entire transportation system, and it's a very important piece.
And going where people want to go.
Transit really runs in all types of weather and friendly drivers and a very affordable system. So, we're committed to growing transit here in the city.
In what's become a necessary alternative to driving.
Go get it.
It's been a rough month for veteran Sean Kettner.
They say they understand, but they don't.
Finally experiencing relief from his PTSD thanks to his service dog, Sig.
He just keeps me grounded and my anxiety low.
He's now riddled with stress and anxiety after disputes with his employer over the dog and being placed on unpaid suspension after receiving a limited pay.
After that, they're looking at terminating because they're waiting on the paperwork from the VA.
Sean brought Sig to work on March 7th, where he has a kennel away from other workers. The pair were ultimately sent home and told to fill out more paperwork.
When he pulled back in the driveway, I gave him a hug and I'm like, we'll get through it. We'll let the attorney know.
Paperwork Becca feels is intrusive and violates HIPAA laws.
The questions just keep getting more intense and deeper.
They've hired a lawyer to help with the legal process.
This way they don't pull something over me where I don't understand.
Hoping to resolve the issue before all the progress Sean has made is lost.
I don't want to see him back where he was 2 years ago when he tried to kill himself.
Look at the bigger picture. You got more vets getting out. You got more vets getting dogs.
Going to work without Sig is no longer an option. He is the strength Sean needs to fight the demons left over from serving overseas.
He has PTSD. It may not be a visible wound, but it's still a wound. And it's something he has to live with for the rest of his life.